Welcome to the Kelly Healing Project, where we have real conversations about healing, growth, and stepping into your power. I'm Kelly, and I'm so glad you're here. So today I'm joined by Michael Monk, a healer, teacher of spirituality, metaphysics, and energy mastery who spent more than 2 decades exploring the relationship between consciousness, healing, and personal transformation. Michael's journey began after a profound spiritual experience that completely changed the direction of his life. What followed was years of studying prayer, spirituality, energy work, and consciousness, eventually leading him to create the Avatar Energy Mastery Institute, where he has taught thousands of students around the world. Through his work, Michael helps develop greater awareness of inner world while learning practical tools for healing, self-mastery, and spiritual growth. What I find especially compelling about Michael's story is that it isn't just about awakening, it's about integration. After experiencing tremendous spiritual expansion, he went through a difficult period that forced him to step away from the public eye, confront his own challenges, and ultimately rediscover a deeper understanding of healing, humility, and devotion. Today, his work focuses on helping people stabilize mind, body, and spirit so that spiritual growth becomes empowering rather than overwhelming. Michael, welcome to the Kelly Healing Project. Thank you for being here.
Blessed and honored to be here,
Yes.
Kelly.
Okay, so let me get started. So your spiritual journey began with an experience that completely changed your understanding of reality. So can you
Yes.
take us back to that moment and explain what happened?
Sure. So, just the backdrop to provide, I was raised religious, Christian, Mormon to be precise, but I was the black sheep of the family, the rebel. I was the first to leave.
Mhm.
So, the backdrop is I wasn't seeking. This just happened to me. Winter of 1999, I'm just mindlessly watching a comedy movie, laughing, enjoying myself, when all of a sudden a presence comes in through the top of my head, an energy. I was new to all of it, so, this is terminology I use looking back, but an energy centered itself within in my third eye in the middle of my brain and spoke to me. I could hear it in my eardrums, and it was accompanied by a presence and a power that is unmatched by anything that I've ever witnessed. And it said, "Stop laughing, stand up, turn the TV off." So I did that, and then I was curious. Obviously, what is talking to me? I was really close to my grandfather, and he had passed away recently. So I said, "Grandfather, is that you?" The voice said, "Yes," and I got flooded with the feeling that I've come to call the Holy Spirit. It's electricity from head to toe, hair stand on the ends, and there's like champagne bubbles of bliss inside the body that rise up, and it's exhilarating. It's a feeling that's not replicable. I can't recreate it. It's only can be authentically experienced. And there was like a posture, like through telepathy, I knew that I was missing something. There's something else there. So I said, "Cousin Jason, is that you?" He had recently died. The voice says yes, and the electricity and the champagne bubbles of bliss accompanying. So I said, "Okay, I'm confused. You're my grandfather and you're my cousin." Then it opened up my inner vision. My outer vision disappeared, replaced by my inner vision. And I saw, I don't know, thousands, millions, maybe billions of humanoid beings of light that were all connected by thin silvery threads. And they were all speaking to me as one unified voice. That's when my heart recognized this is God. You're talking to God. So I acknowledged it as God, and it rewarded me for the acknowledgement with the return of the Holy Spirit and the words, "You have finally met me. I give you a space and time to ask any questions." The questions that I asked are irrelevant. I don't even remember them. They were all biblical in nature. It's all that I had to go on. God steadily through this relationship with the Holy Spirit has led me away from studying books and into practical spiritual experience, direct experience of God.
Wow, wow, that was God, definitely life-changing. So,
Yes.
okay. So how do you view the world now, or how do you view the world after that experience happened?
I didn't really view the world much different. I just knew that God was real and misunderstood, and that I had this
Right.
authentic relationship. The voice disappeared. I've only heard the voice three different times in my life, but the Holy
Oh,
Spirit
wow.
has always been with me. And I have a yes and no relationship with it, or a reward for correct thought, or a warning for incorrect thought. If the answer to a question is yes, or I'm being rewarded for correct thought, I get the champagne bubbles of bliss and the electricity. If the answer is no, or a warning for incorrect thought, I get this slight fight flight feeling in the belly. And that's how I can just know. And so this just my own inquisitive nature, reading the Bible, talking to people, I learned everything, that I know through Holy Spirit confirmation.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. Um, so for me, the more I've become, I guess, more connected to my body because I struggled with complex PTSD
Okay.
for most of my life, and the more that I can calm my nervous system, it's like the more that I'm able to pick up on things. So I get chills. Is that kind of similar to the bubbles of bliss?
Yes.
When I feel something that I know, I guess my soul knows is correct, I'll get like full body chills.
Yeah,
So
and the
that's
hair
similar?
stand on their ends. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. As you open deeper to the feeling, it might refine more into also electricity and the champagne bubbles, but the chills are a part of it for sure.
Right. Okay. Wow. Okay. So when something extraordinary happens to us, it can be difficult to talk about without being misunderstood. So how do you
Yes.
navigate that early part of your journey?
Well, I've got the vocabulary to explain it all metaphysically now, energetically. And so I can explain things religiously to religious-based people. I can use
Mm.
the Bible to press all my points. I can speak in Christian terms. I can also speak in energy terms. I can also speak in scientific and biological terms. So I've learned many different perspectives of understanding the same truth. So I can change the character of my language depending on who I'm talking to. Although I do have a preference. I like the Christian terminology.
Which is great too. I think it's amazing that you're able to talk about this openly because I know at least for me in my journey, I've had a lot of fear of being seen. And
Uh-huh.
the more that I get out there and I put out content or I create this podcast, it's like slowly, little by little, I'm overcoming that fear.
I
And I
see.
don't
Okay.
did you have like any fear of
No,
being seen?
no,
Okay, so maybe that's just
I had
me.
to learn to refine. I had to come from the opposite angle. I had to learn how to hold my tongue and how not to say certain things to certain
Oh.
people. So it was sort of the opposite spectrum. But yeah, it took a while to learn.
So to be very selective of
Yes,
what you share depending on who you're
yes,
talking to.
yes,
Okay,
and where they're at. Yeah,
that makes complete sense. Because yeah, some people, yeah, they may not be ready for all of this. Most people are
right.
probably not ready. And that's
No, they
perfectly
aren't.
okay. Yeah,
It
everybody's
is.
on their
Yes.
own journey.
Yeah.
Um, so one thing that stood out to me was that you don't just talk about the awakening, you talk about integration. So really, what's
Yes.
the difference?
Okay, well, awakening is the experience itself, having the experience, and that's one side of the coin. But just because you have an experience doesn't mean that you own that experience yet. For one, if a higher being provides the experience, then once that higher being is no longer in the forefront, it's not your ability. So then there's learning to have the experience yourself without the assistance of the higher being. And then there's the psychological integration. There's no physical danger in all of this. I've been through energetic extremes. I've been in energetic temperatures that would set things on fire, freeze things, electricity that would like I don't like to say too much in that regard, except to let people know that no matter what you experience, as long as you're in oneness with it, it can't physically harm you. So there's no spiritual experience that can physically harm you, but it can mentally damage you. That's the integration, and it has to be done. There's a whole process that I teach on integration. One is hormonal. where you learn to move the breath, the energy through the major glands of the endocrine system and balance your hormones and keep hormonally balanced. Another one is to stay mentally balanced within it, and that to me is understanding metaphysics. It's like the backdrop of a scientist or a mathematician. If you have a framework by which to understand it, then your mind can logically grasp it. Then another part of the integration. So it's mental and it's energetic or
Okay.
hormonal.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do unresolved emotional wounds affect us energetically? Have you noticed that
Oh, that's a
people
good one.
yeah,
Yes.
hold on to
Yeah.
things and it
Yeah.
affects them?
So I can see this. I can literally see it with my clairvoyance. Have you ever seen those garden lights like that light up at night or front porch lights where they'll
Hmm.
glow a certain color? They'll go green and then the green will dim and it'll go blue and then it'll go red, cycling through these colors. That's what our soul's doing with every beat of the heart. And we cycle through the primary emotions. Every time you have an emotion or a thought, I can see this. It forms into an orb. You've probably seen orbs in pictures that this is fragments of a spirit. So let's say you have a really happy light emotion and it makes a beautiful blue orb. This orb will then get sucked into your soul and it will group with other joyful orbs and it becomes a part of your blue, your joyful mass. The same thing with anger or sadness or depression. They form these individual orbs of energy. And that's why just one little sad thought can lead to the tumult of sadness where you just cry like a river because they're all connected in that way. And you probably know this through what you said about PTSD, that one wrong thought can break the whole dam and the river. That's what that is. And so what we learn to do as energy masters, which by the way is simply somebody who's remembered their spirit,
Hmm.
what we do is we sit with our emotions as they shift and they flow. We don't try to control them. We sit with them and we accept them and we love them exactly as they are. That's the process of empathy. If you go in trying to change something, you're not going to make an authentic connection to it. So you sit with it when you're in your sad periods or your low periods. You shut your mind off. There's no value thinking, contributing, or adding to it, but you sit with it, you love it, and you hold it. So when your soul goes through these cycles, they start to become beautiful over time. You're either contributing to the problem or you're adding to the solution. By accepting the emotion and loving it, you're a part of the solution. And eventually your sadness and your agony becomes Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, a very sad piece of music that's infinitely beautiful. And that's what we're seeking to do with our wounded human, is to make it beautiful.
I love that because a lot of times people will, it's almost like they want to fight the negative emotions. And so it's
Yes,
like they have all this resistance. And instead of just letting it be and, accepting it, like you said, accepting it and,
yes,
maybe this is supposed to teach me something. Because I know
right,
with me, a lot of my negative emotions, I'm like, what is this trying to teach me? And then from what I've learned is that I had a lot of belief systems that kept me safe during trauma, but that I didn't need
right,
anymore that were holding me
yes,
back. So,
yes, yes.
um, so for somebody who feels overwhelmed by their healing journey, where should they begin?
They should begin with the heart. That's if I were
Mm,
to reduce all of spirituality to one thing of importance, it's the heart. I don't just believe in Christ. I know Christ, and it's more than just a man who walked the earth. It's also a great consciousness that literally holds all the love in the universe. And I can testify that where Christ lives is in your heart, and it's an invitation. It's not there to be Lord over you or to be better than you. It's there to invite you in to become all that it is. So, um, Love does not, Christ taught me this, that love does not care by what name it is called. You don't need to call it Jesus. You don't even need to give it a name. You can just say, it's my heart. But a Christed
Mm,
being is simply one who has accepted their heart. And if you can see the way things the way Christ sees it, Christ holds all of God, right? God is a concept that's really, really big, and it's good and evil. God is everything. There's nothing that God is not. It's the great all that is. But the
mm,
Christ in our heart is the part that receives all of God, the good, the bad, the ugly, and gives back only the healed and the polished version, the loving version. So when they say God is love, they're actually talking about the Christed heart. Because the great God, all that is good, evil, tragedy, triumph, all of it. So by accepting your heart and accepting that it's a living being of a more rich and complex intelligence than the neurons in our brain, and that will heal you, that will set you straight, because all
mm,
the trauma, you'll get to see how Christ feels about it. Christ loves it. Christ is the master of sitting with discord and disharmony and sin and
mm.
dark memories and saying, I don't see it that way. I see it as love, and then it becomes love.
Oh, that's great. I know I've done a lot of healing on giving love to myself, basically, learning to pour into my cup after years of people
Mm,
pleasing, all that, oh, those trauma responses of putting myself last. And really, what I've learned, even with trauma, is that the answer is loving yourself. And when you truly love yourself, then you can love everyone else. Like
yes,
um, yeah, it's so
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah, I was given a phrase by the Divine Mother that there's no greater love than of and for the self. It is a prerequisite to truly loving others. You can only love another as much as you love yourself. Be a gift to the world.
hmm And then I realized now, looking back on my trauma, that the person who caused that most of the trauma, it's because she didn't love herself.
Yes,
And so, of course, she couldn't truly give me the love that I deserve. But just because she didn't give me that love doesn't mean that I didn't deserve it. Of course, I
yes,
deserved it, but I had to learn to give it to myself. And
yes,
yeah.
yes. There's
hmm
something else I'd like to drop that I've learned over many, many years, and that is there's a universal response to pain, both like if you cut yourself, break a bone, or get sick. Also, when you cry out in depression with the wounded or the broken heart. There's a phrase in science that nature abhors a vacuum. Vacuums are automatically filled. So every time we cry out in pain or get injured or sick, there's a universal response where the love or the healing that we need automatically floods into us. But if we're so wrapped up in the pain, then we don't even sense the love. But what happens over time, by the way, I spent 35 years of my life being as depressed as a person can possibly get,
hmm
culminating in four very intelligent, well thought out suicide attempts that God rejected. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to trauma and suffering. And I cried for months at a time, making inhuman sounds, and the whole time, God was giving me the love that I needed to heal from that. But I wasn't recognizing it until one day it just all hit me like a river, and the dam broke, and just like, so, so yes, we can do this ourselves, but if you allow the idea that maybe you have a creator and this creator loves you, then it's even more amplified. But creator is wise and honors the free will. So even if you're only calling it yourself, God doesn't
hmm
mind. The great God, the God that I know, is not in a hurry to be known, not in a hurry to be understood. It doesn't send out missionaries. It doesn't seek to convert. It's just there for
Right.
you when you're ready for. And otherwise it's been a part of every experience. We are all a part of
Mm.
God. God is all a part of us. God knows itself as being every single one of us simultaneously. There's not an experience we have that God does not have with us.
Wow, wow, that's great. Um, and I know you said, okay, so you said you were depressed for over 30 years. And I get it.
Yes.
I've been there too, the dark depths of, depression and anxiety. But now, my after I've done the healing, after I've done a lot of work even on my heart chakra, I see life
Mhm.
is just so beautiful. And sometimes I feel like I radiate so much joy, but also, I mean, the complete opposite. Where you've been, that was so
Yes,
dark, but now you're able to experience such
yes.
beautiful things. I don't know
There's
if
a
you've met
great
yeah.
contrast. Yeah, yeah. I there's no greater growth for the soul than suffering. This reality, if I could boil it down, has been an experiment on the effect of suffering on spiritual growth. And the
Mm,
verdict is in. There's no greater growth for the soul than suffering. That's one truth. The other truth is it's about the journey, not the destination. So I believe as a
mm,
whole, we're rejecting suffering moving forward, realizing that it's about the journey, not the destination. However, we are very grateful for all suffering that we have overcome because it's made us the priceless jewel that we
mm.
are today.
Right. It's taught us something. My pain taught me something. And
Yes.
I'm sure the same with you.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a teacher. If you allow it to be a teacher, but so many people I feel like are working against that. And
Yes.
like you said, accept it and just, move on. But so
Yes.
what are some simple ways people can become more aware of their own energy without needing years of studying?
Okay. Well, apart from my course, which is really great, takes about 6 months to 2 years to fully master everything that I teach. But if I were
Oh,
to just share things for this show, there's two ways to remember your spirit, which is all in energy mastery, is that's a fluffed up word that sounds like a top shelf item that might be hard to reach. It's not. A second grader can do it. It's simply remembering your spirit. We are spirit
mm,
right now, but our spirit is hypnotized by the electrical system of the human body, force feeding us five sensory
wow.
interpretation. Our spirit's right here, right now, but it's hypnotized by the nerves. So there's two ways to remember your spirit. One is meditation, the other is focus. With meditation, you seek to lower your brain waves, go down into alpha, down into theta, and you ignore the physical data. You don't pay attention to what you're feeling in your body. You let go of your thoughts, you let go of your body, you reduce your brain waves. Once you get the brain waves down, your clairvoyance opens up, you see energy, you get visions, and you feel your astral body, you feel your
Mm,
spirit. And this I call waking up, which is remembering that your spirit. The other way is through focus. With focus, you raise the brain waves. You go from beta and into gamma, and with like a laser focus, you examine the sensory data happening in the nerve fiber system with a razor sharp focus and exclusivity of presence. And if you can mentally encapsulate all of the electrical data, there becomes room for you to experience more. And that's when this magical pop happens, where you pop out of your body. Now you're in your body and outside of it at the same time. And now you are transcending. This is the beginning of the ascension process because you're starting to spiritualize your physical experience. And this is really where energy mastery kicks in. It usually takes 6 months to a year of doing these focus exercises, but eventually you get to where you can examine the bombardment of electrical sensory data and still have room for more. And then you're in spirit and in physical at the same time. It's permanent.
So, okay, you said your course, you said it can take 6 months to 2 years. Is that self-paced? Can
Yes.
people, yeah, okay. All
It's
right.
video lessons they do at their own pace. And I've
Oh,
had
that's
people
great.
learn a little faster than that and a little slower, but after 4,000 students, it's typically 6 months to 2 years to reach mastery, which means you can travel out of the body, have hundreds, thousands of out-of-body experiences. You can heal others, you can become one with anything, you can be inside, outside the body. At the same time, you
Oh,
can
wow.
see energy, feel energy, hear energy. All five senses are hardwired to energy. And yeah, that's the full package that you get by the end of the 2 years.
Okay, that's awesome. Do you feel like a lot of people have fear related to these gifts, or even if they
Oh
were to do
yeah,
your course? Okay, because I feel like
it's very frightening. Yeah, it can
mhm,
be. But
Okay.
that's why I recommend doing the journey with God. I have two paths. One is all self-mastery, the Avatar Energy Mastery Institute, no spiritual philosophy. I don't tell you right from wrong. I don't tell you how to live your life. I don't tell you who or what God is. It's just straight techniques. Here's how you become clairvoyant. Here's how you travel out of the body. Here's how you do telekinesis, so on and so forth. The other side of the journey is the metaphysical church of the Tree of Life, where you study the energy mastery, but you keep God as a companion. You devote your energy mastery to loving service of the Creator and the creation. By doing that, the Holy Spirit dwells with you and is a companion. Every time you open up to the infinite, if your loving Creator is literally holding you in its universal arms, then you can borrow from God's grace. You borrow from God's nonchalance, and you just aren't afraid of anything. So it's in my opinion, it's the way to go, but I do understand and respect people's beliefs,
Mhm.
which is why I kept the two separate.
Okay. So, what is the biggest misconception you think people have about energy work?
Okay. Well, they
You
get love
think?
and light very confused.
Mm,
That's a big one, and they get high and low vibrations confused. Let's start with the high and low vibrations. They say, "Oh, anger,
yeah.
that's a low vibration." No, it's not. It's a high vibration. They say
Oh,
the physical reality, this is a dense or a low vibration. No, it's not. It's the highest vibration we've been in. Let me explain. When you're angry, does your heart beat faster or slower?
faster.
Faster, right?
Yep.
And so your brain waves are moving faster too. This is a higher vibration expressed in a negative
Mhm.
interpretation. High and low is not positive and negative. There's positive high, there's negative high, there's positive low, there's negative low. So a negative high would be anger and even violence, and you know it's very fast
Mhm.
vibration, but it's in a negative spectrum. A positive spectrum of a high vibration would be elation, exuberance, joy. A low vibration in a negative interpretation would be sadness or depression. A
Mhm.
low vibration in a positive interpretation would be peace, stillness, comfort. Now,
Oh,
now, the other misconception between love and light, people are always saying, I'm sending you love. You can't send love. You can only send light. So light is vibration, and this is a universe of love and light. We as spiritual people all understand this. Well, if that's true, then love can't be a spectrum of frequency. Love can't be a certain color of light, or it can't be 528 hertz, because that's a vibration. I can testify that what love actually is a property of the space that the light is flowing through. We're 99.9% empty space. If your space is loving space, then when light flows through you, it gets harmonized and amplified. That's what love does to light. It harmonizes it and amplifies it. In the negative spectrum, if light flows through an unloving space, it gets dissonance and it gets entropy and decay. It becomes caustic or toxic. So space is either loving or rejecting, and loving space, light is attracted to. So there's this big term, light worker. Everyone wants to be a light worker, and that's great, but the way you actually do that is to be a love worker. By focusing on the love, the light will come, and you'll get brighter and brighter and brighter and more harmonic. It's how you wield light is through love.
wow. Okay. Like moths to a flame. I've noticed
Hmm.
yeah, the more that I've healed, I feel like my light has gotten brighter. And I feel like more people are attracted to that. I mean, more
Hmm.
people are attracted to individuals who even have a healed nervous system, who are
Yes.
regulated like that, because
Yes.
I feel like that's what people want to strive for. They want that
Yes, love
calm, they want that
is an
peace.
attractive. It's the force behind gravity itself. It's love that causes one particle to want to be close to another, because we all came from one, and we remember this at a very basic level. So particles naturally want to group together. So we're born with an innate amount of love or gravity already in our body, but through practices of love and devotion and breathing and healing, we can increase the attractive quality of
Mm.
our space and gain more gravity than our physical body would normally give us. And then you become even more attractive, and the law of attraction starts to multiply in you to where reality starts to reflect you more and more.
So, why do some people feel disconnected from their intuition?
Uh, that's a good one because they might not think that they have it, or they might not think that they can
Mm,
trust it. Everyone has it. I made a post on Facebook recently that our collective consciousness is currently disguised as intuition. So we have this left brain logical mind that our personality is formed from. It's what makes me different from you. You take that logical mind and the memories out, we're formed of the same substance. We're both made of spirit. We're both made of God. There would be no difference. We are a collective consciousness. Every human being is connected. So the thoughts that come to you when you're not thinking, this is the collective intuition moving through you. And for some people, their
mm,
intuition is more refined, but all intuition really takes is stillness. The thoughts that come to you when you're not thinking, those are intuitive.
that makes sense. I feel like I've always been intuitive, even at a young
Yes.
age, but I felt very disconnected from it, or maybe I denied it. And I'm learning to become more connected to it again. Because
Yeah.
even what you feel in your body, it's telling you things all the time. It's your
Yes.
intuition. And most
Yes.
people, I don't know, it's like they write it off or they think, no, that's not intuition. But like you said,
Yes.
everybody has it. Um,
I've learned we have what I call molecular truth, and molecules can't be
ah,
lied to. The spirit has
yeah.
particles. When you're out of your body, you'll see that your spirit has particles just like the physical body, and nothing can lie to the spirit. When you're out of your body, you can test truths, and your particles will tell you whether it's correct or not. The physical body has the same mechanism. Particles can't be lied to. So when a spirit comes into you, you can test that spirit, and your particles will reveal the truth to that in various degrees, right? If something feels wrong, like you get bad body feelings from weighing a truth, that's a lower level body intuition, but it can get to where the molecules sing to you and tell you the exact
Mm,
precise truth. We all have that. We just have to refine it.
right. Okay. Can trauma make it difficult to trust our inner guidance?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess maybe we just assume that maybe we don't trust ourselves. At least maybe that was the
Yes.
case for me. And so, what is
Yeah.
this? Yeah, okay. That makes
Right.
sense.
And we are in a yin yang reality. This is a place where both polarities meet. This is a reality of good and evil. There are lots of evil spirits here that are working on everyone. Every, like, people think, oh, that person has a demon, as if the other person doesn't. Well, like, it's normal. Good and
Yeah.
bad spirits come and go from everybody's body all throughout the day. You see this in behavioral changes and certain triggers within people. With, if your clairvoyance was really heightened, you would see a different spirit stepping into the body that's responsible for that type of thought.
So if you are high vibe, well, if you have high vibrations, like
Yes.
you're focused on gratitude and love, does that make you less susceptible to, negative entities or
It does,
negative in
but
okay.
even negative entities that are oriented towards evil, they're capable of love and bliss and
True.
compassion and all these things too. They can come as a wolf in sheep's clothing. They can come to you
Mm,
with very positive, high vibes all the time, thinking with their logical mind how they're going to use this to destroy you. So I found that the only protection amongst all of this actually comes from the Bible. By their fruits you will know them. You can't the vibration does not tell the whole tale like a lot of spiritual people think. Just because it's positive, high heart vibes does not mean that it's working in your favor. By the
mm,
fruit over time and testing the spirit, you will know. And it's important. Now, vibrations provide a clue. It's a clue, but it's not empirical evidence that this is fully trustworthy. It is a clue. I'm not discounting it
mm.
entirely, but a lot of spiritual people think it's empirical evidence of its trustworthiness. And I only warn of this for personal experience. I've had very high level spirits work a number on me in the name of love
Oh,
and heart.
oh, wow. So okay, what is your opinion of angel numbers? Seeing repeated numbers, synchronicities, is that like a message from our higher self, or is that like what is responsible for that? Do you know?
Well, that's
Or
the
do you?
great tapestry of time. We all have a timeline that we're weaving in spirit, and in the
Mhm.
unseen, our timelines weave together into a rope that the collective is traveling. So this is very complex and
Okay,
difficult
that's
to
fine. Yeah.
describe. I'll keep it as simple as I can. So, synchronicities are a language that you establish with God, or if you prefer, you can call it
Mhm.
the universe or source. God doesn't mind. So this is a language that you decide. You decide what the numbers mean and what they mean to you. So you can decide that from angel cards or
Okay.
from what other people have already decided, and that's fine. You're just establishing a language with the universe. But eventually, whatever 33 means to you is what it means to you. Whatever 22 means to you is what it means to you. 1, 7, 17, all of these numbers, you're establishing a language with the universe, and then it can begin to communicate with you based on what you've decided these things mean. And then it appears all over the place on license plates, on the timestamp on the
Mhm.
phone call. How many minutes was I talking to said person? What time did this email come in? What colors are on their logo? Colors, numbers, letters, symbols. Even the sun getting brighter or the sun getting dimmer can be a sign or a synchronicity. You can decide what bird chirps mean. You can decide what cricket chirps mean. You can decide what butterflies mean or dragonflies. And you're just refining your language with the universe. Eventually, it becomes this symphonic musical language that you're absorbed in all day, just seeing wow everywhere. And that's normal. That's to me, that's a normal, my normal day
Mm.
is synchronized to the minute.
Okay.
When it's not, I know that I'm out of alignment and I need to do some repair.
Okay, yeah, that happens to me a lot. A lot of repeating numbers and
Yeah,
even just birds and butterflies almost flying into my face and just
yeah,
just
yeah,
just different things and I'm like, "Okay, what does that mean?" I'm like,
yeah,
"Okay." But just enjoying the ride, you know what I mean? I don't
yeah,
necessarily need to know the exact meaning, but I
right.
see it. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's up
so
to you. You get really precise with the universe and it'll get really precise with you, or
okay,
you can keep it vague. Yeah.
yeah, that's great. So, how do you see the relationship between the nervous system and spiritual growth?
Okay, that's a really good one. So
Yeah.
most spiritual disciplines from the past believe that the spirit is superior to the physical body because the physical body dies one day and the spirit doesn't. I can testify as an energy master with thousands and thousands of hours that the human body is a vessel of transformation, that the electrical senses that the nerves are providing us give us the reality that we experience. Without the nervous system of the human body, there's just waveform universal source energy. And I can see this with clairvoyance. So the electrical system of the human body translates these vibrations into ground you can stand on, air you can breathe, sun that shines on you, birds that chirp, people that you can talk to. So we've been given this miraculous body that's literally teaching our spirit how to translate vibrations into space and time. Were it not for the nerves, like when you start to travel out of the body, you'll see that it can be very chaotic. Time won't have much order to it, and the beings that you speak to might not have much intelligence. You might look in the mirror and your face morphs and shifts. It's not very defined. But as your spirit starts to pay attention to the nerves and be present within the human experience, your spirit experience gets refined, dialed in, high definition, 1080p. It starts to get refined because the human body is the universal embodiment. It creates the universe as we know it. And so it's a teaching tool for our spirit to learn how to translate God as a universe.
So, why do so many people feel exhausted during periods of transformation? And is that normal?
Well, there's many different reasons for that. One
Mm-hmm.
can be their biochemistry isn't balanced in the hormonal. When the hormonal's off, that can happen. Another very common one that's worth paying attention to, and I'm sure a lot of people disagree with me, but ascension symptoms, we've all heard of that. So-called ascension symptoms, they're not actually. They're a warning that you're not tuned to the right spirit. When you're tuned to the wrong spirit, you'll get nervous, jittery, You won't be able to sleep. You get headaches, brain fog,
Mm,
fatigue. These are not ascension symptoms. They're the opposite. They're warnings that you're not actually playing with the right spirit. When you are, the real ascension symptoms are peace and clarity of mind,
mm,
upliftment of emotions, deep, restful sleep with out of body travel and lucidity, a healing and health, vitality, strength, vigor, all these good things. These are the signs of playing with the right spirit. And I know a lot of people
mm,
won't like to hear that, but that's my honest testimony. And I'd
mm.
rather people hear that than hear glamorized, glossed over truth.
Right. Yeah, that's a great perspective. It's a great way to look at it too. Have you ever found that fear ever completely disappears, or do we simply develop a different relationship with it on our spiritual journey?
Different relationship with it. Fear,
Mm.
fear is the power that you need to overcome the situation. The mastery of the
Oh.
hormonal that I teach, most humans they're in the root chakra to the solar plexus chakra, and they go their whole life there, and they almost never make it to the heart. So in the root, we're concerned with sexuality and safety. In the stomach chakra, we're concerned with our emotional state. In the solar
Mm,
plexus chakra, which is attached to the adrenals, that's our sense of self and our relationship to the collective. Now, your average person, their adrenals are firing off and dripping down into the stomach. And that's where the fear
mm,
is, that's where the depression is. It's
mm,
adrenal energy mismanaged running the wrong way. So the adrenal energy is actually meant to be lifted up to the heart. And when it does, it's power, strength, vitality, everything you need to overcome any obstacle. So the fear that you're feeling is actually the juice that your heart needs to be empowered in the moment. But if you let it
mm.
trickle down to the stomach, then it becomes fear. If you raise it up to the heart, then it becomes holy fire, strength, and vitality, and the energy that will allow you to overcome any difficulty, including self-defense.
Oh, wow. Have you noticed that people with trauma or people with PTSD, that they typically are in the upper chakras, like because they don't feel safe enough, they don't have that security or that stability in their own home?
Yes.
Do they kind of, are they more spiritual in that kind of
They
relationship,
will tend
maybe?
to disconnect from the body because they feel safer in the spirit and in the layers of reality that they can control. They're in a pampered or a comforted version of the upper energy, and that's understandable. And God wants you to have that until you feel ready and safe again to come into the lower.
So, okay, so what are signs that we're disconnected from the body? Can that be more like disassociation or like soul fragments?
Well, you trip and fall, door hits you on the head, slip down the stairs,
Oh, wow.
f forget what you were thinking about, forget what so and so said. These are the great signs that you're disconnected from the body. When you're
Wow.
connected to the
Okay.
body, you don't have accidents. You don't trip, you don't fall, you don't have an accident, you don't almost hit somebody while driving. The body is so alert and ready to give you Jedi level sensations to keep you so safe, but you have to be really present in the body to receive those signals. It comes down to that molecular truth that I was telling you about. The particles, they know how to navigate reality. And if you can be present with them, then they'll teach you.
Do you believe that our external reality reflects our internal state?
Yes, it has no
Okay.
choice. As within, so without.
Yeah, that's what I've discovered, or I'm like, wait, I've heard it before and I was like, I don't know if that's true, but the more
Oh,
that
yeah.
I go on this journey, I'm like, wait, that is true.
Yes,
And
and you can change the external to change the internal, and this is something not a lot of people have figured out. They say, "Oh, no matter where you go, there you are." So if you're depressed or unhappy or feel stuck, you can't just move because you're taking the same self with you. But as your landscape changes, it changes your vibe internally. Part of how I healed from my depression and my suicidal tendencies was to move to a new location, and it gave me brand new energies to work with to make new psychological associations. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but sometimes a move is exactly the thing that you need to heal.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Um, I know with me, I had to change environments so that I could truly start
Yes,
healing because I was in an
exactly.
environment that didn't fully feel safe.
Hmm.
Um, and even vacation, because I'm actually going on vacation next week, and I debated it and I was like, you know what, this is gonna be good for me. I need this.
Hmm.
So even something as simple as vacation and getting out and movement can
Yeah.
can help. And but I'm so glad you agree with me with that internal state because I've been making videos
Yes.
about that and I'm
Oh, it's
like,
huge.
yes. And
Yeah.
two, and a lot of some of it's from your beliefs and where you operate from. At least that's
Hmm.
what I've noticed. And
Hmm.
um I don't know, that helps so much. So what does personal responsibility mean without blaming ourselves for everything?
Hmm. Well, there's levels to that because at one really high level, it's actually wise to blame yourself for everything,
Yeah.
because that's how you gain ownership, even if it's not actually your fault. By taking it and by owning it, it's how you get your power back. So there's a balance there in how much you're ready for. But we're in linear time. One moment precedes the next. This isn't the truth. In spirit, we can just travel time. We can change time just like we can change space. But here we're learning something new. This idea of linear time, it implies responsibility. Your
Mm,
choices from the past determine where you're at in your now. And it's actually a wonderful thing once you cultivate it and you make correct choice after correct choice after correct choice. Now you have a positive reinforced now moment that's growing like a rose bush
mm.
and starts to flower, you know. So I love linear time. To me, it's an evolution. I don't ever want to go back, and I can travel time when I'm out of the body, and it takes the sacred out of life. Like if you can make a whole series of horrendous mistakes and then just rewind time, you do that 3 times, and all of a sudden you're gonna wonder, why am I even like nothing means anything anymore? I've lost my sense of sacred because the responsibility has been taken out. So responsibility is a great thing. Linear time is a blessing. We're being invited into this new concept of reality. So it's definitely not for everyone, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love Chronos. I love linear time.
So, how does our energy influences the relationships that we attract? Or what's your opinion on that?
Well, like attracts like. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what you put out is what you'll pretty much get back. It's not empirical. We are in this yin yang dark light reality where it is possible for, excuse my language, complete shitbags to interact with
Yeah.
very positive people. But for the most part, and the more mastery you get, which implies responsibility, the more
Mm,
responsibility you're willing to take, then the more response able you'll be for your reality. So ultimately,
wow.
it's the wise man that or woman that decides it's all her fault or all his fault, and then takes it in and internalizes it and works it out and turns it into a shining jewel.
So, how do we know that we're on the right path, or is there a such thing as the right path?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. How much do you love your life in this moment? If today is the best
oh,
day that you've ever lived, then you're on the right path. Pretty much every day for the last 8 years since I've devoted my energy mastery to God has been the best day of my entire life. Tomorrow will
mhm.
be the best day of my entire life. Today is definitely, and I mean this, the best day of my entire life.
Yeah. What is something you wish more people understood about their own power?
Well, that it's limitless. There's nothing you
Yeah.
can't do unless you decide that you can't, then you can't. Whether you're right or wrong,
Yes.
you're right when it comes to can or
Mm,
can't. And especially, this is something I see in minority communities a lot. such a bad belief to believe that the world is inherently racist. I see this so much, and
Yeah.
it breaks my heart because if you're a minority and you believe the world is racist, then whether you're right or wrong, you're going to be right because you're just gonna make it. You're gonna create it everywhere, and the world isn't racist. We're in a great time where everybody really cares, and I see everybody in real life and from all races. We take care of each other. We love each other. We're kind to each other. We're uplifting. We share tools, tips, and techniques till I turn on the damn internet or turn on the damn news, and then all of a sudden, oh, the world's racist. Like, no, no, we just have corrupt media and corrupt people at the top trying to turn us against each other.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I definitely agree. If someone only remembered one thing from this conversation, what would you want it to be?
Everybody needs to be an energy master. An energy master is simply somebody that has remembered
Mhm.
their spirit, and spirit is what you are. If you believe that you're just a physical vessel, that's a story that the electricity is telling you, and it's not an eternal story. Your spirit is the only thing that's going to survive this, and spirit is what you are. Everything that I teach is a remembrance. Every skill, everything that I teach everybody that's out of their body can do. I just want you to learn to do it from within the body so that your physical experience can become a spiritual experience. It's a sensory overload of delight and bliss that never ends. And otherwise, it's a dull, mundane, boring life where we chase these permission slips to feel good, right? The new job, the next promotion, the increase in our bank account, the next time we have sex, the next time we do drugs, the new iPad, the new iPhone. These are permission slips of achievement that we seek to feel good. But with spiritual energy mastery, you can just love God, love the world, love yourself, and you get sensations that bypass
Mhm.
anything that materialism could ever do for you. And so now you're fulfilled. We live to feel. That's what we live to do. Well, there's a much
Mhm.
better way of doing that than chasing these permission slips.
Right. Yeah. Um, so where can listeners learn more about your work and find you?
Sure, it's all umbrellaed under my bio site, which is michaelmonk.bio, B-I-O, michaelmonk.bio. Whether they're interested in the self-empowerment from Avatar Energy Mastery or the teachings of the Metaphysical Church, they both have a free sample. I don't expect people to invest any money in me until they know for sure that I'm legit.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of this. And I really
You're
enjoyed this
so welcome.
conversation.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
brought out great things for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you taught me so much. So, thank you so much for listening to the Kelly Healing Project. Remember, healing is not about becoming somebody new, it's about reconnecting with who you truly are, healing the past, empowering your future. I'll see you next time. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.